Alright, Undertoads, the answer is riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex, asking Natalie Portman to my prom, and climbing a clock tower at precisely 10:04 p.m. on November 5th, 1955. What are the 3 activities by which I measure the success of my existence? Now, clearly, I've set the bar high, almost unattainably high, in fact. Through no fault of my own, I've quite literally yet to accomplish any of those things. My expectations for myself are so high, they depend on advancements science hasn't yet got the balls to make. Forget curing disease, you lab coat-wearing do-gooders. Where's my flux capacitor? But you know, being stuck in the present isn't a problem for everyone. Take this guy, for example. He's the blue-skinned protagonist of CHRONOS Twins DX, a WiiWare game in which you can, among other things, make time your bitch. Now, although traveling into the past may not be an issue for CHRONOS Twins, existing in the present was. It was originally conceived as a Game Boy Advance title, but sadly, as interesting ones often do, it was never released. And while the game did see a limited European release on the Nintendo DS, it never came stateside. If for that reason alone, it's nice to see the game finally get a widespread release on WiiWare as CHRONOS Twins DX. And don't let whatever assumptions you may have about a console port of an unreleased handheld game dissuade you from checking it out. Regardless of time period, this game is awesome. CHRONOS Twins DX is an action platform game that I hesitate to describe as 2D. It may have the look of a traditional action flatformer, but jumping and shooting aside, it doesn't at all have the same feel. While most of those games are tests of your raw gaming skills, this one is more cerebral. It's like if Charles Bronson would have played Contra to satiate his appetite for 2D digital destruction, Albert Einstein would have reached for CHRONOS Twins DX instead. Now, generally speaking, CHRONOS Twins DX does have a lot in common with those classic games preceding it. You move through 2D environments while shooting at enemies and jumping on platforms. Functionally, it's pretty simple. But the game's hook is that you exist in 2 separate times simultaneously. You're only controlling one character, but you have to be cognizant of what you're doing in both the past and the present. The result is a game that really keeps you on your toes. Overcoming enemies and obstacles in one dimension is easy, but CHRONOS Twins DX forces you to do it in 2 dimensions at once. For example, there's a monster in the past you have to shoot in the eye to defeat, but the only way to do that is to use platforms in the present. So you attack the boss in the past, and when it opens its eye, you platform in the present in order to make your optical assault in the past. Scenarios like that are common in CHRONOS Twins DX, as are cause and effect situations that require working in one dimension to solve a puzzle in the other. The game utilizes this dual-screen mechanic for exceptionally clever gameplay. A very challenging twist, the likes of which can only be expressed with Great Scott! But although the game avoids minor issues like time paradoxes and altering the fabric of its own existence, CHRONOS Twin DX does run into a few other problems. The game's 5 worlds and roughly 20 levels only last a few hours, and although it was upgraded from its original handheld form, it's still not a great looking game for a home console. And yet, relative to the game's genuinely inspired design, those issues seemed as small as a grain of sand in an hourglass. CHRONOS Twins DX may be short, but while it lasts, not a second goes by in which you're not thoroughly engaged. Thanks to its intelligent hook, this exercise in running and gunning tests your brain as much as your thumbs. And for that, CHRONOS Twins DX is one of the coolest games on the time-space continuum.